After 1,200 years of absolute monarchy, which included good and bad kings, the French wanted political change. Louis and Marie Antoinette were not prepared leaders. They had no knowledge or interest, they were just young adults. They had unlimited power as there was no constitution, parliament, or any regulation to the absolute monarchy. They were not interested in helping the French people, their subjects. After 1,200 years of absolute monarchy, which included good and bad kings, the French wanted political change. Louis and Marie Antoinette were not prepared leaders. They had no knowledge or interest, they were just young adults. They had unlimited power as there was no constitution, parliament, or any regulation to the absolute monarchy. They were not interested in helping the French people, their subjects. They lived in Versailles, which was a type of bubble that isolated them from the French reality. Marie Antoinette caused great disgust from the people, as it was believed she said, "Let them eat cake," when the Third State was protesting for the increase in bread price. Marie Antoinette and Louis gained hatred as they had an extravagant lifestyle, even though they had debts and the French were hungry. Marie spent ridiculous amounts on luxuries and improving Versailles. It must be recognized that even though they did not act as good kings, they were just young adults without responsibility and that they still wanted to act as teenagers, proving on how much they gambled, partied, and evaded their responsibilities as kings.
Social problems were very common. The three main social causes that inspired the French Revolution were the social class division, tax unfairness, and Enlightenment ideas. The old regime was the original social and political system in France, which was very unfair. There were three states: the clergy, which consisted of church leaders, the nobles, and the third state, which was very varied, having educated lawyers, doctors, but also peasants and servants. The clergy and the nobility, which were the most rich and had the most money, did not have to pay the king and had no taxes. The third state, which had no money, had the most taxes. The third state found this very unfair and revolted against this injustice.
Was also mad that even though some had money and knowledge, like the doctors and lawyers, they were treated as inferior and ignorant. There was no social mobility, which was also causing resentment. Besides taxes and social class unfairness, the Enlightenment ideas were spread. These ideas gave people the wish for liberty, fraternity, and equality. The biggest ideas influenced by the Enlightenment were secularism, the division of power in three branches, democracy, and quick and fair trials. These ideas were unobtainable while having a monarchy, so this propelled people to want to remove the kings even more.
Farmers in late 1780 suffered economic difficulties because of the drought as well as a very cold winter at the harvest. Those facts halted the economic incomes of poor farmers. All this contributed to a shortage of flour and bread, making the prices of those rose. Many French people depended on agriculture for their livelihoods, so rising food prices caused the revolution of the masses. People spent much of their money income to buy bread and could not buy other products. This led to the restriction of the manufacturers' productions, increasing unemployment. During 1774 and 1776, USA's War of Independence created an extremely large debt at the kingdom finances. During 1774 and 1776, USA's War of Independence created an extremely large debt at the kingdom finances. Turgot tried to straighten out the public finances, which were almost on the verge of bankruptcy. First, he attempted to abolish unnecessary expenses, lowering the cost of taxes collection and suppress useless procedures. He tried to liberalize the economy, proclaiming the full freedom of the grain trade. Turgot also advised the king to impose taxes on every class of the society, but due to the interference of Queen Marie Antoinette, Louis dismissed Turgot. Then Necker, who was appointed as the finance minister, published a report on the income of the state in order to arouse the people, but he was also dismissed by the king. The next person who was appointed by the king as the finance minister was Calonne. He proposed to impose taxes on all the classes, but he was dismissed by the king too. In this situation, the king at last summoned the States General. The economic instability formed one of the most important causes of the French Revolution.